Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, July 14th. Thank you for joining us for our rescheduled meeting. Tonight I am joined by my fellow commissioners Mike McAteer, Alexandria Christmas, Emily Cherniak, myself, Marnie McAlpine, our licensing clerk, Naomi Lebron. We have B from the licensing department. We also have Chief Houghton from the Chelsea Police Department joining us this evening, and I see Officer McLaughlin is with us as well. We have a fairly quick agenda this evening. A couple of housekeeping notes before we do get started. Please be sure when you do come up to speak to us this evening that you step up to the microphone and you state your name and reason for being before us clearly. If there are multiple people speaking on the same subject, please step aside and let whomever is speaking step up to that microphone. So that makes it easier for us to hear you up here, as well as anyone in the community that is either watching the meeting live or watching a recording later to also hear all of the discussions that take place here today. With that being said, we are going to move right into things. To start off, we have approval of minutes from a couple of our last meetings. I do have a notation to adjust a section on the minutes from our June 23rd, 2025 meeting. In the first bullet point, there is a line that states the ABCC stated that a warning is given, then a suspension, and lastly, a disciplinary hearing is scheduled. I am asking that that line be adjusted to state as follows. The ABC stated that a warning may be given by the city prior to a disciplinary hearing. Then the licensing board will schedule a disciplinary hearing if needed, which may result in additional warnings, suspension, modification of license, or revocation of license. My fellow commissioners, are you okay with that adjustment?
Yes.
Thank you. With that change to those minutes, can I get an approval for the minutes from the June 12th, 2025 meeting and the approval of the minutes from the June 23rd, 2025 special meeting with those revised notes?
A motion to approve.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. That's for you. Just confirming we do not have any update this evening.
There's no clerk's update, and there's no communications.
Wonderful. We will move right into our public hearings this evening. First, am I looking at the right one? Yes. Sorry, I backtracked to last month for a minute. First on the agenda, we have a public hearing to consider a new amusement and entertainment license application for Axe Entertainment Incorporated, DBA, Torito Restaurant and Lounge at 73 Winnisimith Street, Chelsea.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board.
This happens everywhere I'm. Oh,
It's what happens when you're tall.
oh, that's it. Well, I was never on stage, so anyway. Thanks for having us here, folks. So we were here last month on the alcohol license. We're applying for televisions, amplified music, and live music, all of which is going to be, ambient or background music. We're not looking for, dancing or a club or concerts of any way. So we want to make sure that we're really respectful of our neighbors. We heard our neighbors at the last hearing, and some of them are here tonight as well. And we know that that particular location has had good experiences in the past and also bad experiences when the occupant really wasn't sensitive to, the fact that it's a residential neighborhood. And we're going to make it very important for us and make it a priority to be sensitive and have a good relationship with our neighbors there.
And Naomi, am I correct that when we approved that liquor license last month, we gave them the Sunday to Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and 11 to 1 on the weekends?
I believe so. Don't
Yep.
remember.
Okay. Questions from my fellow commissioners to kick things off?
How many televisions? The ones in the upper level, the main level?
I think we had planned somewhere between 8 and 10, not on the upper level. Maybe might be 4 there and 4 on the bottom level. But
okay.
there are 2 seating areas on the bottom level. There's a larger one and then a smaller one. I don't know if televisions will go on the smaller one because it may be more of
It was
like a
at
private
8. I was
banquet
like,
area.
That's a lot. So it's like a sports bar kind of theme?
Well,
That was
have you been into the
downstairs.
place?
It has to be downstairs.
Well, that was
It's broken
down.
up a lot.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, the layout has a few angles where if you don't have televisions at a certain place, like say, for example, we were watching the soccer game. If you didn't have it angled correctly, there'd be quite a few seats that wouldn't be able to see.
Okay.
I do recall
This
when
is
they
the
were
main
here
floor,
last
right?
month, they were talking about wanting to be able to have people watching some of the sports games.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Mike, any concerns from ISD?
No, we didn't have any problems with the last 2 occupancies there. We actually didn't get any complaints back then, since the building's been rebuilt.
Wonderful. Other questions from my fellow commissioners for this moment?
No, that was it.
Chief?
Good evening. Is any members of the public, were they able to speak last time? I just don't want to.
Yes, I'm definitely going to allow them to speak.
Okay, because I'm obviously eager to hear what they say. The last 2 restaurants were passive restaurants. It's a very strange setup if you've been in there. There's a small bar area, then a back room, then downstairs is a very enclosed area. And I'm sure the fire department signed off on it. I'm just concerned, I'm glad council said the music's going to be light. We will definitely monitor. I believe people paid a lot of money to live upstairs. It's in the neighborhood. I do worry about soccer matches. The occupancy load is 178 people. That's a lot of people in segmented rooms. So we're absolutely going to monitor that. And I believe, I was not here, I know Sergeant Chung, I'm just standing in for her. There was questions about the manager and her, I believe it was a female, what her expertise was and what her knowledge was of running an establishment. I just want those to be on the record. Like, obviously, we want them to do well. There's very limited parking for 178 people. And it's a, kind of a dark area, dark street. We've had a lot of accidents. It's a main truck route to the airport. I mean, I wish them well, but I think the ATVs, now he kind of explained it a little better. They may be in separate rooms. I'm definitely concerned about the live music and soccer matches. And you guys already did vote on the 1 a.m., which I would have, if I was here in the sergeant's place, made them earn their time. Where other cities, you can't find a place open until 1 a.m. anywhere, very few. Chelsea seems to give 1 a.m. licenses out too often. Like, you go out after tonight, places that were open pre-pandemic to 1 a.m. close at 9 p.m. If it's gonna be a restaurant, let's make sure it's a restaurant. Is it a sports bar? What's it going to be? I guess you've already voted on the hours, so we'll just do our monitoring. And I believe officer who does the inspections on the video cameras, I'm not sure, he spoke to somebody. So he's gonna reach out to you, and I believe our guy was on vacation, and we're gonna go over the video system. I'm not. He already took care of everything? No, he did tell me today that he was gonna reach out to you. Okay, that was my only other concern, is the 30-day video. It seems that a lot of times businesses forget it's 30 days. I want to emphasize it's 30 days.
Rolling.
Of
videos, yep, rolling, continuous, yep, and it turns over after 30 days. Besides that, I have nothing else to add because a lot of it was already done in the conference.
So just to reference something else that you did just state as well, we did reference at our meeting last month when we approved the liquor license that we are a little concerned when it comes to the entertainment side of things, particularly because the reference kept being that the the music would be down in
In the basement.
in the basement level, which makes me a little concerned with how loud is that really, and what environment is that really that we're doing late night down in that level that is not easily viewed by the street. So there's definitely a little bit of concern on my end, and I think from some of my fellow commissioners as well, not to speak for you, but I think that we did reference that at our meeting last month.
Yeah, we are very clear, Chief, that, you know, we are giving grace and we can easily take that away if they come before us with complaints. So we're all of us are kind of on the same page on that.
No, it's a beautiful location, and I wish them well. It's been
Yeah.
sitting idle for too long. I wish you well. I just, you know, obviously I've been here a long time, and licensing and issues with bars is one of my pet peeves in this city, and I just like let them know if you do something, we are on you. That's the only thing I can say.
Thank
And
you.
just to be honest, my last comment is always call the police. Don't ever try to hide anything. If there's ever fights happen at bars, things happen at bars, if you call us, no issue. We understand that's business. It's when bars do not call us and victims come into the station and we have to come back and get video. Just do your obligation, know your rules and regulations. And like I said, I wish you well and hope you have no problems and you're very successful.
Thank you. So just want to make a point that I had pretty much to chase that officer down. I called the station like 5 times. Okay. At the 5th time, they found who was the officer there. Just for future reference, there's one officer who knows this, and he should be, in my opinion, should be involved in this process here because he's the one that told me. Those were his words, that he's the one person there who knows the regulation.
Well, that is totally false. Every one of our offices has the regulations on hand, and you're supposed to have one person. I think he's talking about the video system.
Correct.
We have one officer who's trained as an expert in retrieving video. Any officer can go and request video from you, and you'll get a letter, and you'll have like a time period you'll have to deliver it by. So I just want to make sure it's accurate what he's saying. Every officer in our department is a licensing agent. Every officer has access to our licensing rules, which they should have on person. It's the expert to pull the camera out. If it goes to court, he is like a certified expert to retrieve video. He may have a different system than 38 other establishments in the city, and that officer is the one that we count on. And we only do have one. That is, but we get the job
So
done.
we're talking, to make sure that we're all clear on this, we're talking about that officer who is the specialist in the video systems being available to go out and check
To
your
retrieve
system.
video if something happens.
Right, but in this case, we're talking about him coming out to speak with you about your particular system?
So pretty much what I understood in our previous hearing here is that before I finish the system, I have to obtain the okay from the police department. And I kept on calling to find out, okay, I'm trying to put the system there in place. Who can tell me what to do and the angles?
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes more
He was
sense.
extremely knowledgeable, very helpful, but there was a little confusion to find that specific officer.
No, so I will apologize for that. Yeah, we have, like, obviously it's summertime and he was probably on vacation, but we do that. He does come out and he does assist to make sure the angles are proper and we're able to retrieve it. So,
I appreciate that.
okay, and I apologize for, I was thinking someone else told you something that was totally not accurate. So we're on the same page.
Okay, perfect. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on the matter of the, yes?
Hello, everyone. I'm William Kaufman. I am the treasurer of the Condo Association, and I have an agreement that we've signed that is in accordance with our bylaws, speaking to noise in particular, that includes quiet hours that start at certain times. We've had multiple conversations about how easily noise can permeate vertically. So we've written a whole document about that, and he has signed it, and also we'll have the condo owner sign it as well and do our best to enforce it in good faith. But it's fairly stringent, and we're going to see what we can do to work together. I mean, I'd say that, like, TVs is a thing, and, people cheering is easily heard, but, we do live in a city, and if it's within the regular hours, then we should be okay.
And in terms of those regular hours, those hours that we have granted that license for, or are you?
These are more stringent than that.
So
Yes.
what sort of hours are you, as the condo association, asking for?
That Sunday through Thursday, quiet hours begin at 9:30 p.m., and that Friday through Saturday, quiet hours begin at 11 p.m. So the idea is that on the first floor, a regular conversation would be able to be had at a normal volume. That music will never be loud enough to be heard upstairs or provoke people to speak louder than that. And if it is, we're going to go through some sessions together where we will listen and talk to each other and communicate.
And relay
and set a
what you're
bar.
actually hearing?
Yeah, and then the staff and everybody will also be aware of that. The operators will be aware of this agreement, and we're all going to sign it and try to work together.
Thank you for sharing that.
So one thing that
Up to the microphone, please.
Thank you. One thing that we did is, like, Will and I were working together to make sure that the neighbors, especially the people who live especially upstairs, are not disturbed at all. So we've had, as he said, multiple conversations. As soon as we started negotiating, I reached out to him, and we became like good friends in doing that. He already relayed concerns, because there's one door that the position for the door makes a lot of noise when the door slams right to his apartment. The doors on the back will cause noise to other neighbors. The way we handle trash might also disturb some of the other neighbors. And his concern is, because our goal, and I think that speaks to what that, I'm not sure how to refer to you guys, but how one of your colleagues referred before. Our concern is that the first floor, anybody that come to have a dinner there or drinks, they'll be able to have a conversation, so the music will not disturb the conversation. And on the lower level, you can still have a conversation, but there'll be a little louder music, so it's not that we're gonna be a disco dance, whatever, it's not the case, but it's a little louder, so that way we don't disturb them, and we have two separate ambients there. That's the whole thing.
In walking the premises on Friday, I'd say that my faith in the two different levels setup is been, it's solid. I mean, it feels like there's a good space downstairs for things that can be a little bit louder and have more of a music-oriented lounge experience, and that upstairs, given they have that space downstairs, there should be not a problem keeping things at a reasonable volume and having that kind of ambiance upstairs. But, we're gonna find out.
And are you already open?
No,
No.
no, we're waiting for this license and the ABCC approval as well.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak on this matter? I don't see anyone. Other questions or comments from?
What is the target date for your opening? Sorry to make you get up again.
Yeah, sure. So as soon as we get the license from the ABCC and this license here, we should be able to open within a week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's ready. Pretty much painting and stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thoughts as to the hours for the entertainment license? I will say, personally, I'm hesitant to grant an entertainment license until 1 a.m. in that neighborhood because it is pretty residential.
Well, I was just going to ask, does it have to mimic the
Right, it sounds like they're self-governing themselves, which is great.
yeah.
But I would question, are we able to allow certain things on the license until 1? Like allow radios and TVs until 1, but live music has to end a little earlier?
Well, all depends on the licensing commission. So it usually mimics the hours that you give the liquor license,
Yeah.
but it has to be shut down half an hour before, just like the liquor.
Well, thanks for clarifying that, because I thought in the past we mimic what was in the liquor license with that, what Naomi just said, a half hour, which makes sense because you want people to start,
Right,
Vacating.
wrapping it up.
yeah. So in this case, I think we should stay consistent,
Yes?
if the option to earn, as the chief mentioned, was possible, then I don't see any reason why not to be more stringent with the entertainment and let it be earned, especially because it's nowhere near this anyway.
Thoughts? Emily?
I mean, it sounds like they're governing themselves. I'd be more afraid of him than us.
Exactly, I think they're in good
I mean, I am,
hands,
you know?
to be honest.
Yeah.
I just want to stay consistent, especially we are doing the liquor license, matching to their entertainment.
Yeah.
With also, they
Well,
have their own
I don't-
governance.
I'm not concerned about televisions and radios at that hour. I'm concerned about live music until 1 a.m.
What do you mean by live music? We're
Do you have
talking.
live music?
That's
Yeah.
what's on the, that's
Are you
one
going
of
to
their
have a
requests.
band,
Yeah,
a
well,
DJ?
it's not going to be, I mean, yes, but if it is, again, it's, I mean, if you've been to a place that has,
I mean, I've been to some
Do you know what I
places in
mean?
this city that are doing stuff that they're not supposed to be doing.
yeah, I mean, outside the city, you got to go up to Cape Ann. If you go up there and there's somebody playing guitar in a brunch, this type of stuff. We're not talking about a dance party or a concert. I think it would be reasonable to set some type of time prior to close, to say at this point, if it's an hour prior to close or a half hour prior to close, any live music will stop. Because I don't think that's really what our intentions are here. What our intentions are is having a nice place with a nice ambient music background. The conversation about it being louder on the bottom floor as opposed to the top floor, really, we should have said it's going to be softer on the top floor than it is on the bottom floor. And that's just being sensitive to the upstairs neighbors and the other neighbors. We know we'll be right back in here if there's a problem with noise. It's like a really paramount importance to us that our neighbors are happy with us, because we'll be back in a month.
I think for me, it's just that concern. We seem to continue to have places that come before us. They say that they want to be a restaurant. They say that they're trying to provide a nice,
So just one observation, the space downstairs only fits like one DJ. So it's super small.
yes, I've been in that restaurant many times.
So the space downstairs that we can have any kind of entertainment other than the TVs, it's super small, it's smaller than a desk like that. So it's super small. Upstairs, I would say the size of the space where the chief is. It's not like for a band. Might be, I don't know, one acoustic guitar. It's not even.
Are you thinking that space? It's kind of at the top of the stairs, that little
That's what I'm
landing?
saying, that space. We
Yep.
put some glass there. We're replacing the wood frame there and put some glass there. That's it. That's pretty much all the renovation. 2 walls of glass. Just to have like a nice view of whoever's playing there. But for an acoustic guitar or whatever, you don't fit a band there. So if you go, you see, hey, they're not having a band because you can't even fit a band. It's a super small location. Just to clarify.
I just want to point that out because we have had this happen a few times in recent years where somebody claims that they're coming before us for a nice family restaurant and they want to provide some different food for the community and they're going to be good neighbors and they're going to do all of these things. And then the next thing we know, they're on social media and it's a nightclub. And that's not at all what we are looking for in our community. So I just want to make sure that we're bringing that up now and making it very clear that will not be tolerated if it turns into a thing in the community, because we're seeing this happen a little too often, where they're really good for 3 to 6 months, and then all of a sudden, they do exactly what it was that we were hoping that they weren't going to do. And we have granted these because we want people to come into the community in open places, and we want them to be what it is that they're telling us when they stand here. But then, lo and behold, it's kind of like the good old bait and switch. They act like a good neighbor to start, and then the next thing I know, I'm getting a report from the police department that they've done something that we made it very clear was not okay, and then acting like it was a shock, and they didn't know that they couldn't do that. So I reference these things to make sure that we have gone on record that these are the rules. This is not what we are looking for while everyone is present. So if you do come before us at a future meeting, we have video proof that these have been stated. It has been agreed upon that this is not what is being brought into our community. Because while we want to have great places for all of us to go to, I mean, all of us live here, we also understand that we have a lot of neighbors around many of these venues, and we want to ensure that it is a comfortable living situation for everyone as well. So it's finding that balance of providing that. So I'm pleased that the condo association is working closely with you. And I do hope that you're able to be successful, because we hate to have places come into the community and then not last.
Yeah, one thing that I want to bring to your attention is, like, even talk to Will when we start talking. It is a restaurant, but we want to have like a very good tequila bar. I'm just being completely upfront. It's very rare. I appreciate tequila. I love the drink, and I want to make sure that if you like tequila, you can come in and try 10 different tequilas. We're gonna carry the best brands, not just the shelf that you have anywhere. We want to have something that is special. So yeah, if you say, hey Gene, you're gonna have a family restaurant, yeah, you're gonna come in and delight yourself in very good food, but we're gonna have very good drinks as well. So that's our intention. And when I shared this with him, he's like, oh, I appreciate tequila as well. So this is something that we want to offer to the public and make sure that everybody understands. We're not coming in and say, hey, we're not going to offer good quality drinks there. That's part of what we're trying to bring forth.
One of the reasons I have faith in this is because of all the communication we've had, and also because this concept, to me, as someone who enjoys going out to restaurants like the rest of you, has legs. Whereas the previous restaurant that was there did not really. And that turned into a lot of really interesting marketing efforts that were extremely disruptive. So, not that we weren't for all of the wonderful things that were happening down there, but, on a Sunday afternoon when it feels like there's a drag brunch happening in your home, that's, not the original arrangement, right? So that stipulates that anything above a certain volume is going to happen downstairs, and that the upstairs area will always remain the idea that we've talked about is that that agreement that the quiet hours don't matter. Correct. Is that it's always going to be appropriate volume on the first floor.
Okay, other questions, or does somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the entertainment license.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please don't disappoint us.
Or him. That's what you really have to make happy.
Yes, if we could, that would be great.
Since you submitted it, yeah.
Uh,
You want to email it to her?
if-
And Naomi.
Naomi, what is your email?
I got a card if no one does.
Naomi or B, either?
I want.
Ah, yes. She hadn't asked me yet, but thank you. Perfect, thank you. Next on the agenda this evening, we have a public hearing to consider a new garage and repair license application for Mel's Tires and Auto Services, Chelsea Incorporated, DBA Mel's Tires and Auto Services at 200 to 224 Everett Ave, Chelsea.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Melina.
Hi, thank you for coming before us this evening.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a bit about your business and why you are applying for a license?
Déjame presentarme. Hi, my name is Hageda. I am the interpreter.
Hello.
Porque me faltaba esa licencia de garaje y no sabía que la necesitaba. Because I needed the license for the garage, I didn't know I needed it.
O sea, no se pasó en el proceso de toda la aplicación.
I skipped it in the process of the application.
Could she explain the service she's going to provide at that location?
Ok, nosotros vendemos llantas nuevas y usadas y mecánica.
We are gonna sell new and used tires, and we're gonna do mechanic work.
And how many bays are you using?
I'm sorry?
How many of the bays, the garage doors?
Son 7 puertas.
7 doors.
Yeah, it has 9 doors. It actually has 6 in the back and 6 in the front
Yeah,
and 3 in the back.
and you're using 7 of them? Is that what you said?
We're using 2 in the back. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I just, things that I don't understand, I wanna.
Yep,
to be
that is
clear.
perfect. That's why we have it.
So we use 6 in the front and 2 in the back.
Okay. So is the 9th one just kind of blocked off because you're using it for more of a storage type area?
¿Qué dice?
Que si es el tipo que está bloqueado para que nada más se use esa área.
Sí, o sea, nada más se usa esa área.
Yes, that is the only area we're gonna use.
And then for parking, how many spaces does the property have?
Nosotros tenemos como para 24 carros.
About for 24 cars.
24 cars? And how many of those are being used by employees versus for customers?
Como 6 empleados.
¿Esos van a ser usados por 6 empleados?
Sí, y para los clientes, muchos clientes dejan los carros para los
Sí, pero ella pregunta, de esos lugares que tú tienes, ¿cuáles lugares van a ser utilizados para los clientes?
El mismo parqueo es como 6.
Okay. Only six spaces for
For
employees.
employees,
Yeah.
and then everything else is open for the public? Or not the public,
Customers.
but customers, yes. Obviously, you don't want the general public taking up your parking spaces. So you said that you had opened and you didn't realize that you need a license. When did you open?
Hacen como como el noviembre del año pasado.
About November last year.
Okay.
Dile que hubo una confusión, hubo un inspector que fue y dijo, puedes abrir, después de varias cosas que se hicieron en el edificio. Y yo abrí.
Okay. There was like a confusion because there was an inspector that went there and he said we could open, and then they went to check some other stuff, some other things.
Entonces parece que él pensó que yo había venido al meeting, so hubo como una confusión.
He was thinking that I was here at the meeting, so it was kind of confusing.
So you had an inspector come out prior to last November that said,
Yeah, when we did the sprinkles,
So he probably gave her an occupancy permit,
yep,
either didn't tell her, or maybe she didn't understand it, that you're okay, you have an occupancy permit to open, but you still need the license.
think that's
Maybe he didn't mention it.
yeah,
He
okay.
was just saying it was safe to open.
Yeah.
Past everything in our department.
That makes sense.
exactly what happened.
It's not the first time it happened.
And then how did we come to learn that you needed to have a license?
Okay, I have different location, right? One, I just found out 2 weeks ago that one of employee put music. So that's when, I forgot her name? Naomi.
Your thing's
And
not
another inspector came here and he said, you guys put in music here. And I say no, because I didn't know. But I find out that one of the employees stay there, put music. I'm not gonna lie, because it's the reason why the police went there.
Yeah,
And I didn't know. Another employee told me that 2 weeks ago, you know? And just salí del empleado. I don't have that employee anymore. Since we opened there, I tell all the employees that we cannot put music, that we cannot do bullas, noise, because of the hotel at front.
Yeah.
So we've been doing, we didn't have any complaints until that complaint that it was out of my control because he waited until we closed. And I didn't know about it. He even disconnected the camera, that's why I didn't find out that he did that, you know? But I get rid of that employee.
And so it was because of that complaint?
So
and
that complaint, bring
is
another
what-
one. Then Naomi find out that we didn't have the license.
Yep.
And I say, yes, and she say, no, you don't have it. I'm the one that, yeah.
Understandable. Okay, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I saw in the package that you had also, you had like a U-Haul or a moving truck.
We took that out. I
Okay.
didn't know that I need a special license for that. They told me that they take care of everything, and until I find out that no, and we removed the trucks next day.
Okay.
They took all their trucks,
Okay.
yeah.
Mike, throw this one over to you since it sounds like your department has been involved a little
Yes,
bit.
we've been there. So we were there with the U-Haul trucks, and I heard about the music. The other issue is you have a temporary occupancy permit for a year. Yeah, do you have any plan on what you're going to do when the year's up?
I'm just gonna wait.
So what it is it's a garage. It looks like a garage. Believe it or not, it's not allowed in that zone. And the time lapse, so for that, whoever the powers may be, you know, we gave her a temporary occupancy permit because she has a garage, but it's not allowed.
So why are we having a license now?
She's got a 1-year occupancy.
Well, she
Which
had a
you should-
one-year occupancy that started last November.
Yeah, last November, yeah, so she's got 4 months left. Potentially, yeah. Potentially.
So how does it get renewed? She has to apply again?
She'll apply again, and there's no guarantee she'll get it renewed.
So we just have to, so this is for 4 months. We're approving a license. So we're basically like back fixing what didn't happen for the past year.
Right.
Is there any downside to that?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, I feel very bad. She put a down payment on, she put a lot of work into this building, and it's a use that's not even allowed, you know, so.
And no one told her that wasn't allowed?
The owner, no. The owner didn't tell them that ahead of time.
Lucian?
But why was a temporary occupancy granted for
I
something
felt
that's
bad.
not allowed?
I
I
think
felt
because it's a garage, it's already set up like a garage. You really can't do anything else but put a garage in it, right? So, you know, I think
A garage for storage or a garage to
any
do
garage,
work?
anything like that, nothing else works there. Nothing else, you know,
Well, right, but if it's not zoned for that.
right, but it's already there. 2 years lapsed, it was closed, 2 years lapsed, so it was there legally, and all of a sudden it's not.
Because it went by with 2 years with nothing in it.
Yes, they lost all their
It was
protected
4
rights.
years, I think.
4 years, whatever it was.
Yeah,
After
it
2
was-
years, you lose your protected rights.
But can it be a garage again or no?
We might have to, there might have to be some zoning work done to make that possible.
¿Tú tienes un abogado?
¿Ah?
¿Un abogado?
Sí. Lo que pasó fue, después que yo rentó el local, doy todo el dinero que me pidieron, fueron casi $100,000.
Sí, wow.
Me dijeron que no estaba allowed to cosa. Después me dieron una temporal.
Yeah.
No me iban a devolver el dinero, pero yo gasté en ese edificio más de $500,000 con sprinkle, electricidad. Eso era ahí un costo de homeless. Yo duré como 3 meses sacando
Pero un
gente de
momento
noche.
para traducir.
Yeah,
sorry.
I got
But-
some of
but the
that,
public
but can
needs
you?
to know.
Yeah,
I got certain
I was
words.
like wrapped up in the story.
I
I was
spent a
like,
lot of
tell
money
them
on
about
that building, like $500,000, because it was closed for 4 years.
Yep.
It took me like 3 months to take in homeless from there. Homeless used to live there. And
Homeless.
then they give me like a temporary for 1 year because the landlord didn't want to give me my money back, you know. And let's see what happened.
So,
But it's been a garage all the time, that's my understanding. They changed the zoning then.
So have you started doing any work yet to try to
The
make
zoning.
sure it's granted after November?
Sí, está haciendo algún trabajo para asegurarte de que se te dé el permiso, que se te dé el permiso después de noviembre.
¿Qué yo pudiera hacer? Necesitaría
You need to
saber.
talk to John DePriest.
I like, she said, I like to know what can I do?
Maybe she could talk to John DePriest. I'm the guy who says it with the black and white. John DePriest is more of the guy that, progressively, he's, planning.
And can you tell her, in case she doesn't know who John DePriest is and
John
how she contacts him?
He's the director of permanent and land use planning.
Okay.
I think you benefit from getting some advice from a lawyer as well, too. So you could recoup some of the money, or if you want to continue doing service in the future.
Yeah. She should call Paul.
Because the problem
That's
that
what I
I
call.
see happening is if we grant this license, but your occupancy permit is up in November, then the license can't be used until you have an occupancy permit. So if we grant it, you're good until that occupancy permit that you have expires. And then if they don't grant you another one, you don't have a license again. So it's a bad,
She already paid for just to apply, correct?
for which thing?
For our license, the license
Yeah.
that she's applying for? Okay.
Yeah, so we can grant her one, but it's only good so long as she has an occupancy permit. So come November, when your temporary one expires, if you have not been able to work out either a permanent occupancy permit or another temporary occupancy permit, the license that we granted is null as of the date that that occupancy permit expires. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we can't do anything about that, because the licenses are only valid when you have a valid occupancy permit. So that's where it's very important that you make sure that you are in communication with John DePriest.
Shouldn't she be doing this now?
I would be starting it now.
Isn't that what
Because
Mike
it
should be
takes-
saying? Instead of saying, you should talk to John DePriest, you should say, that she should start the process of doing the special permit or the
Already started
special
it, yeah.
variance.
Because this process takes how long?
A few months, because you still need to apply, go to a public hearing, state your case, and then depending on their decision.
Even before that, just to get the laws changed, maybe, potentially.
Yeah. You have a good case, but you need to start doing the work now.
Yeah, I'm gonna start them
Yeah.
right away.
Because otherwise, you're going to end up, unfortunately, in the exact same situation, and you'll end up closed.
Okay.
And I'd hate to see you do that, especially trying to put so much work into this and the money that you've put into this. I mean, obviously, the fact that you've been operating without a license isn't great. I'd like to believe that it's 100% just a confusion, because I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, so I'd like to believe that that's the case. But I can pretty much tell you that it is 100% on everybody's radar now, so when that license then, or when the occupancy permit expires, you're on everybody's radar.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to keep operating like you had been.
The other issue, when I did go by, when you were open, when I thought you did have a license, there was constantly cars parked on the sidewalk, people maybe not changing tires, but doing work outside of the area. You gotta tighten that up,
Yeah, we don't work outside.
There were definitely people with maybe not working, but the mechanics were right there, and they were checking cars, and they were doing stuff outside too. Hoods up, that has to be done in the bays.
Él dice antes.
Es que cuando él le tocó ir a
Nowhere to
revisar,
park,
la gente
yeah,
estaba
it
fuera del área.
was bedlam.
Estaba trabajando, pero no había instrumentos del mecánico fuera del área.
And partially because there were U-Haul trucks in there, there was bedlam there. You just gotta-
Can I ask a question for you, Mike? Based upon what's inside of our packet,
Yeah,
how would I know that this is temporary?
it should say temporary on it. If it doesn't, then that's an accident. I wasn't the inspector involved. I'm looking for it in my packet.
It's towards the back. Third page from the back.
Holly, it's, oh, I didn't see
Can we verify that it's temporary?
it. Doesn't say temporary. I mean,
It definitely is temporary. I don't see it here, but it might be a typo as well.
So something to look at as well too, I know what you're saying, but as the business owner, she would not know that,
Yeah. Oh, she knew it was temporary.
yeah?
Yeah, she had-
Okay.
Oh, yeah, she definitely knew.
Okay, so with the current stuff that we have now, what should we do?
Okay, so before we move on to any sort of a vote, questions, comments from our police department?
No, obviously, I'm not an expert in the licensing, but I do know that our officers did respond late night from complaints from the hotel. That's how loud the music was after hours. I just want to know what happened to that employee. Does he still work there? That's a good sign. I honestly thought the place was up and running, and issues we've had in that past in that location, I'm not sure if you research, they had to, when it was a farmer place, they had to designate like 4 spots for people to come in. What do you call, customer parking. So some of those spots, because the previous owners back, they too try to rent vehicles without a license. People were parking all along Everett Avenue, blocking the bays. And I believe there's a decision, if you check the records, that there was either 2 to 4 spots have to be left open for visitors, people coming in to have their
Yeah, so
vehicles.
it was a used auto dealership, and they filled every spot with a car.
Yeah, they filled every
to
spot
sell.
with a vehicle, yeah.
And they
Made
weren't,
so nobody could actually pull in and park anywhere.
no one could actually go shopping there. And they didn't just fill in the parking spots, they jammed them in.
They jammed them,
Just
yeah.
everywhere.
In fact, I think the licensing commission made them
Yes,
label spaces.
yes.
And that's where they
Strike the
came
line.
up with your number if you have 24. That's what happened. There was no line spaces. The commission at the time voted them to have someone go down and see what the, it ends up being, I guess, 24 spaces. But besides that incident, I thought they were just up and running as a, we usually not, that's not part of our purview that we do inspections of these type of places.
Thank you, Chief. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak on this matter? Seeing no one. Thoughts from my fellow commissioners?
I mean, she has 4 months of business, so I have no problem like granting the license, but it looks like you're gonna need to do some work if you want to continue doing business there after November. So, yeah.
No problem, and just keep it, do better this time, the next 5 months than you did the first 7.
So you want to, like we said, immediately
Yeah.
reach out to John DePriest with the city and start that process of trying to get approval to be able to have that be an ongoing thing, because it will take you months. And the very, very important to do that, because it takes months to get that done. So you stand a really good chance of it not being done by the time that that occupancy permit expires. So you'll likely end up having to close while you then finish that process and hopefully get what you want, and then be able to reopen. And then the other thing that you have to make sure that you pay attention to is renewal time and getting all of your paperwork in a timely manner, so that way, come license renewals, you're never stuck in a period where you don't actually have a valid license. Because then you end up having to come before us, and it's not fun for anybody. And what hours, since you're not currently open, what hours are you planning on being open?
9 to 7.
9 to 7, and is that 7 days a week?
We can open Sundays 9 to 4.
So 9 to 7, Monday through Saturday?
Saturday.
And 9 to 4 on Sundays? Okay. Questions from my fellow commissioners, or can we get a motion to approve the new garage and repair license for Mel's Tire?
Not
and-
to make this more longer than it should be, but here it says working number of days 6, so you're doing 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 7 to 7, that's incorrect, so it's
9
9 to
so-
7 instead, okay.
Good eye.
We just want to revise that.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That'll be page 3 of 4 of the licensing application.
Yep. This page, page 3 of 4. So, working number of days should be 7. And the hours was 9 to 7 and 9 to 4.
Got it.
And the 8 days is listed.
Sorry about that,
No,
Chairwoman.
thank you. Good eye. I don't like that font. My eyes are having a hard time on it. Okay. So with those hours noted, can I get a motion to approve the new garage and repair license for Mel's Tire and Auto Services?
Motion.
And
A
a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck, and please make sure you start that process.
I'm gonna do that.
No problem.
Thank you. Next on our agenda this evening, we have a public hearing to consider a cannabis license change of hours from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., requesting a change to 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. midnight for House of Ermias LLC, DBA Chelsea Bud, at 267 Broadway, Chelsea, Mass.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the committee, police chief, officer, everybody else.
Thank you.
Good evening. I represent Chelsea Bud. Our attorney couldn't make it today, but I'm a board member. We here to respectfully request an extension of operating hours from, as you mentioned, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. for numerous reasons that are specific to our location and specific to our place, which I'll talk about. Chelsea Bud was founded on 2 core values, and that is making cannabis affordable and accessible. We make it affordable by reducing our margins significantly, and I don't know if you know, but we are one of the lowest priced, most affordable dispensary in the state of Massachusetts now. And the reasons for that are numerous, why we want to do it, but one of them, by making it affordable, we reduce street selling, and we reduce people from buying the cannabis on the streets, and thus buying bad product that is detrimental to their health. Now, accessibility means true access and making it available to people when they really need it. So, as I mentioned, there's a few reasons why we are requesting the extension, and some of them are due to hardships. For example, in downtown, we have construction going on, as you know, big construction, and that affects traffic, that affects car traffic, that affects walking traffic, that affects parking, so people can't go there. And some businesses reported that they had sales that dropped by 40%, and Ola will be able to talk about that because he knows a lot of business owners. So we're no exception, so that affects us as well. So we wanted to have, by having extended hours, we'll be able to recover some revenue lost during the day due to the construction. Now another thing is late night and early morning demand. So there's a lot of people that live in Chelsea that start work either very early or finish it very late. Nurses, hospitality staff leaving restaurants after midnight, caregivers, delivery drivers, and so on. And so a lot of times what we see, for example, I'll give you an example, we have people breathing heavily, saying, I drove all the way from work. They show up at 9:01, 9:02, knocking on doors. I wanted to make it. I just finished work. I was rushing through traffic. I need, my product. And people use, obviously, these products for anxiety, stress, pain relief, sleep problems, and a lot of different issues. And we can't serve them. So they're forced to either go on the street or not get their products. Same thing, early in the morning, people go to work, construction workers and so on, and they would like to get some product, but we can't service them. So that's another reason why we're requesting it. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention is that we actually make Chelsea safer in the dark. By staying up late, our place is well lit up. We have licensed security company on staff at all times. We have about 70 cameras in and around the place outside. So we continuously have licensed security monitoring those cameras. So they actually make the place safer. Another reason is people, by attracting more people to downtown area, will make it more vibrant. And people can go to other businesses that we will serve as anchors for and spend money and leave money in Chelsea, and perhaps increasing tax revenue as well. So there's a positive there as well, as we see. So my introduction and final, I'll just summarize what I wanted to say is we'll be able to recover lost revenue. There's another actually reason that I wanted to say. There's also a precedent. Harbor House had their hours approved until 11 p.m. I think last year, and I read a transcript, and Sergeant of Police, by the way, I got to give you props because we've had some issues where our employees hit the button a couple of times. Some employees, and they show up, we promise we're done with that because we train our employees and all that stuff. But a couple of times, but they show up immediately. Sorry for deviating, but they show up immediately. They're very respectful and very well trained. So, and we apologize. We retrained everybody so they don't press those buttons. But so there's precedent that Harbor House was approved until 11 o'clock. In summary, we could recover some of the lost revenue that we lose due to construction. We offer working class and immigrant communities more access to the products when they need it. We improve safety by staying later. We bring outside dollars into Chelsea. We make the community more vibrant. And we do that without asking for new licenses or expansions. And as a committee member said earlier today, if there's a problem, you can always take that away. Right, so we obviously, and we don't foresee any problems, but respectfully, we request that you grant us to extend our hours of operations, and we'll do our best to be part of this wonderful community and serve. And by the way, we already hire, I think, about 6 people from Chelsea. If we expand the hours, we're probably going to hire at least a few, and as we grow, we're going to hire many, many more people. And if you read reviews, maybe if you had a chance online, you'll see that we're becoming really a part of this community really, really fast, and people are appreciating and becoming sort of like a family.
I will say that you referenced Harbor House as setting precedents, but we didn't give them midnight.
Yeah, I know. It's 11 o'clock.
You're looking for later than we've granted.
By 1 hour, due to the fact that specific to us, that we are in downtown location, that we're affected by the, I'll let you speak just in a second, that we're affected by the construction and some of the other things that I mentioned, and we can make the community vibrant. Right across from us, there's laundromat that works late. You just approved another license that's going to be working late. There's 7-Eleven that works 24/7. There's people that are going around, and frankly, before we even opened, I saw a lot of people were just sitting, and there's like a little vestibule. They were sitting right next to us. There were homeless people. There, not to say anything bad, but there were people that didn't make the place safer if you walk down there. Once we opened, that's gone because we're there. We have security present, close to 70 cameras around. So
But
I think we're just...
But we also don't have our liquor stores open until midnight.
Maybe not. So but we're requesting respectfully until midnight. I know 11 is what you're talking about. We're requesting because of our unique situation with losing revenue and so on. But I'll let Ola also come in and speak.
Hey y'all, good evening. Ola here from Chelsea Bud. Used to live in Chelsea for 5 years. Many of you guys know me. Main reason, first of all, guys, I'm not gonna mince my words here. I'm gonna be straightforward with you guys with what's going on, right? So pretty much, you guys see what's going on Broadway with the construction. You guys see what's going on with ICE. Businesses have suffered negatively. I speak to businesses all the time within the area, and like Dimitri was saying, many people are suffering 40% sales decline. Rent isn't getting any cheaper. the pressure from landlords. And think about it, right? People who are in Broadway, that BR2 district, they're usually paying a premium for that location. So you're paying a premium for that location. Then on top of that, because of the activity going on for the construction that's going on, you're not really reaping the benefit of that. You're not getting the value for that. And with the situation with ICE and how that's shaken the community completely, a lot of people are scared, right? They're not coming out to frequent the businesses that they normally frequent. So there's a hit there. Now, we've been open for about 6 weeks. We're doing decent. This is a hardship request because we are seeing how impactful it is. And if I told you how much we're paying for rent, oh my goodness, right? So there's definitely that pressure coming for us. But at the same time, there are some positives. There is a silver lining that we are seeing. We're seeing that right now we're probably averaging around 150 to 200 people a day coming in, right? But the thing that I love, and this is why when I came to you guys 6 years ago, I told y'all, you guys, everybody was saying, hey, Broadway is gonna be the new facade. There's gonna be the Broadway 2.0. We're gonna make it super attractive. And I said, okay, a dispensary can do that because cannabis, a product that sells itself. If you package it the right way, if you market it the right way, it's gonna start attracting local crowds. The East Boston folks, the Revere folks, and Revere, they banned it. So we're getting a lot of people from Revere. We're getting a lot of people from Everett. So these people are trickling in, and their behavior when they're buying cannabis is that's not the final destination. Usually, if they want to go get rolling paper or lighters or Gatorade or something else after that, they're going to the convenience store next shop. Oh, they got the munchies too. I'm gonna go to Kushala. I'm gonna go to get a mocha or go get something like that, right? So we have created this epicenter. We're still a business that's maturing, but we need this help from y'all. That's why we are labeling this as a hardship request, not a precedence of what Harbor House has had before. They're in a different location. We're in a more vulnerable situation, and we're asking for y'all help. You guys have done a great job over the past few years of making Chelsea a more business-friendly environment, and we welcome that. And there's a couple things that I want to continue to work with you guys on. There's a few campaigns, community loyalty programs that we're doing with 24 other businesses in Chelsea right now. I've gotten about 50 people to sign up, but we do believe that when that takes off, that could be a new thing that we implement citywide. So just know that you're dealing with entrepreneurs who have taken the risk. We love the community. Y'all know me. I've served on the Board of Health. I've done things for the Chelsea High School. I was instrumental in even increasing the licenses from 4 to 6, and we just want to basically have the support from you guys to just help us with this hard time that we're currently facing. That's pretty much it.
There's one more thing that I forgot to mention that I wanted to add, and it's very, very important, and that is community support. So we've had people asking us to extend those hours. As I mentioned, the use case where people knock on our doors. So last week we just put a paper saying, hey, if you guys would like us to extend, sign it. We're going to go to the meeting with you. We said, no, don't go to the meeting. We'll be there until 3 a.m. if all of you speak. So we got some signatures in a week, over 300 signatures. We brought them here, Chelsea residents. On the petition. We've got community support from businesses because they're considering it as an anchor and they will get more business. So, and with respect to 11 to 12 o'clock, yes, Harbor House, for example, wasn't granted 11 o'clock, but they're also not next to Tobin Bridge. They're not in downtown. And you mentioned liquor stores are not past 11 o'clock, but nobody buys these products and through criminal activity on the streets, right? Alcohol, everybody buys them in the stores. We priced our products in such a way to get rid of people dealing on the streets. So the later we're open, if until 12 o'clock, the more people we're gonna get off the streets. Because our products are literally cheaper than the streets. That's how we do it. We work on a really, really tight margin. That's how we can do it. And that helps the community. But we also need to recoup by increasing the hours because we've got so much in margin.
Fellow commissioners, questions to start things off?
I do like your guys' vision. You know, I always, when you came a long time ago, loved the business plan. It's amazing. Definitely your integrity of your business as well and the effort for the community as well, too. I'm not a big fan of the late hours, I'll be honest. I was never a fan of all the liquor stores we have in Chelsea, especially that we're a small city, and the amount of dispensaries that we have. That being said, you know, you guys are in downtown, so you have a big responsibility. You know, you're amongst residents, there's a school district nearby. You're surrounded by other businesses. You have easy access because you are bringing people from Boston. You're right next to Tobin. So where I'm glad that maybe you want to have early morning hours, I don't see you guys getting to midnight, I'll be honest. I'm not a big fan for the late hours. What could you do to convince me otherwise? Because you mentioned Harbor Cove, and they're different. Their location is actually not so
Harbor
many,
House.
yeah, they're not Harbor House?
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. Said the wrong thing.
Yeah, I've done that before too.
Yeah, but they're in a truck route, so for me, they still get people to go there, and they're not surrounded the same location as you guys are in downtown area. So, the comparison is completely different. You guys are surrounded more by residents. You have a bigger responsibility for safety. So, I don't know, I'm just not a big fan with the late hours, especially in that downtown area.
So
What's your biggest concern, though?
Yeah.
Just curious on
The
that.
security, the safety of the community.
Okay.
But the key point is what I mentioned, is we're making it more secure. We have licensed security company on site monitoring the cameras. We have close to 70 cameras at all times while we're there. You have a brightly lit up store, and it's not like a dead street. All of a sudden, it's a street that's actually being more secure, monitored, and surveilled. And another reason for that is what we see also. We see a huge rush of cars closer to 9 because they know we're closing, and it creates a big traffic problem. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but we certainly noticed. They just rush in, and there's just this rush before 9 o'clock. If you spread it longer, then you can avoid that rush. But the point is that we're actually making it more secure because we have security presence, and there's not an incident since we opened because we're actually more secure. There's actually people that cleared up who would go on the corners and all that stuff. They're not there anymore.
And you've seen this in the last only the 6 weeks that you have opened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, the vibrancy makes it harder for somebody who wants to do something sketch to say, oh, Broadway is typically dead at 10, let me go do what I need to do there. By us having that frequent activity, that allows more people to be around there, which makes it a less obscure place to certainly do
It's
what
actually
they do.
it's actually the opposite. We feel that it's more secure. It's more secure. Kids are sleeping at that time. The place is lit up, and you have a licensed security company on site monitoring these cameras all the time.
And that the security company that we use, majority of their clients are in Brockton and Fall River. We know Brockton and Fall River are more dangerous than Chelsea right now. So the people that we do use, they're pretty legit. So.
Comments from other commissioners before I open it up to Chief?
What took you so long to open? I mean, we saw you, it was a couple years ago.
few years
And so I didn't know you've only been open 6 weeks.
Yeah. Business is it's crazy. Whatever you thought you were gonna do in 1 year, it might take you 3 years. It's gonna cost you double, triple sometimes. So it was just going through that entire motion. You guys have seen that meme where it says point A to point B, a straight line, but what really happened was this. That's kind of what happened there. But God is good, and we made it happen.
Just to point out that they were opened before they got a license from us.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a week or two, but they were.
I'll
honestly,
clarify that. So I stepped into this deal more than half a year ago, and I invested a lot of money. I bought out a partner that Ola had that couldn't deliver, that Ola said from point A to point B went like that. So I bought him out, bought a large share of the company, and I said, I'm gonna run it. So I come in to run it, and everything worked out, meaning my attorney, everybody gave us a green light. What I didn't know, because I'm running the place, and I wasn't there before, is that Ola had some kind of a you had a license that was postponed or something?
It had nothing to do with that. Being honest with you guys, I just feel like I've told this to Naomi before, you guys gotta do a better job of dotting the I's and crossing the T's and really explain to us when we're coming in to do, I'm just being honest with you, Naomi, like on the paper, it's very confusing when it says license period is September to pay $5,000, and somebody can interpret it as that, oh, I have till September to pay that. Someone can easily interpret it as that, because think about it this way: if I have to pay $5,000 now and then have to pay $5,000 in September, that's $10,000 that is I have to pay in an annual window within a 4-month window.
It was told to you that if you open, excuse me.
It was not.
Please let her speak.
It was
Sorry,
told to
sorry.
you that if you open before September, you have to pay the whole $5,000 license fee. Before September, you have to pay for the new year. You decided to open up before you even got the license.
And that's
She's
where the
not done.
let me
She's
finish.
not done, and we're not getting into an argument here, so please let her finish.
Let me take it over.
So you opened without getting the license from us just because you got the CCC license. It was told to you, once you get the provisional CCC license, you had to come to the city and get our license. Where was the disconnect? I don't know, but it was told.
So from my perspective, I'll continue what I was saying. So I'm operating the place. I step out, and then I have employees calling me saying, there's police and they're shutting us down. There's a woman with the police and they're shutting us down. I said, I don't know why. The attorney, everybody signed off. So from my perspective, then I find out that there was an issue with license that I wasn't even aware of previously. And so immediately we run to City Hall. We say, we're going to issue the $5,000. Please don't shut us down. We just opened the business. It's bad for us. We didn't do anything bad. I emailed the mayor and everybody that I could, and next day they were able to resolve it. They took our bank check. We ran to the bank, and honestly, we apologize for not following. We want to be compliant and always be in compliance. I hope we would have had some kind of a notification. Then I would be aware, and we would have done that without getting shut down and having police presence. But again, we always want to be in compliance, and we will be. I'm on top of it. That is a situation that was happened prior to when I acquired the share of the company, and I wasn't aware of that, and that's behind us. But it has nothing to do with being open at 12 o'clock. I don't know why it was even brought up now.
Well, honestly, everything has to do with what we approve for hours, because anything that happens with a license plays a decision in our decisions.
Sure.
Because if, you have to look at it this way. Now, let's forget about how or why it happened for a moment. But if a licensee is not compliant and they open without a license, how do we know they're going to be compliant and follow the other rules? So for that reason, it matters. It matters on if we're going to grant extended hours. It matters on anything that we're going to grant. It matters if a disciplinary matter comes before us. We're going to take all of these things that have happened in the lead up into consideration, because we have to. We wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't listen to everything that happens, whether we're hearing it from our licensing department, we're hearing it from our police department. All of these things we have to consider as part of what we're doing, because all of that adds up. Now, can there be kind of confusion as to how things work? Sure. I will tell you that I know when all of the licenses were being given out, there was all talk about provision, and this goes for all the cannabis licenses. There was talk for every single one of them about the provisional licenses that come from the CCC and then the licenses that come from the city as two different licenses. So that has been discussed from day one. Now, obviously, I was not present for any sort of conversations that may have taken place between the city and any licensee regarding the timing for when you make a payment. But as somebody who has had a license, not in this city, but in other cities, I know, and not on cannabis front, I've done it on the liquor side, I know that if I get a license at any point during a given year, you have to pay for the full rate. They don't do prorated licenses. They should, but they don't. And this is normal. It's not a Chelsea thing. It's a pretty standard thing. It's not a prorated license. So if you open off cycle, you end up having to pay more money. Now, if that wasn't communicated in a way that made it very clear, then obviously that is unfortunate, but it is, I believe, listed in the paperwork what the timing is of the license. So it would show that that license is only good until that next renewal cycle. So even if the conversation wasn't necessarily clear, it is in the paperwork of the licenses. So it is as much a responsibility of a licensee to read that paperwork and understand the terms of those licenses. Because it's one of those things, doing the liquor, I always know that it's all due by November 30th of every single year, and cannabis is on a slightly different schedule. So it's one of those things that you end up, and you just have to mess up once, and then it should never happen again, because then you know that program, you know that schedule. But it is just as much a responsibility of the licensee to make sure that you're reading that paperwork, because the paperwork does state the dates for a license. So again, not a part of any conversations that were held between either one. We certainly know on our city front that we can sometimes do a better job with communicating certain things, but I can't speak to this particular conversation. But I do know that the paperwork itself states the timeline. So regardless of a conversation, it is in the papers.
Yeah, it was a lesson that was learned. You know, Naomi and I, we had a chat about it, also with Cheryl. It's something that definitely won't happen again. We're on top of it. So as far as any concerns about that being precedent of us not following, not anything like that. It was just a misunderstanding of what the process is. And once we understand, we recalibrate, we fix it, and then we're in alignment again. So that's that.
And as I mentioned, we met with Cheryl, we addressed it immediately, we brought the check immediately, and I spoke with Cheryl also. We want to be a responsible part of this community. I've started many businesses before, compliance with SEC and all that stuff. I've never had any issues, so compliance is very big on my personal watch. I'm a president of largest condo with about 7,000 people living there. And I know what compliance means because we put this forth and we enforce it. So very big on compliance. This was just something that I wasn't aware of when I stepped in, and that was resolved immediately. That's not going to happen. Not an issue at all. So we apologize for that.
Naomi, can you confirm if everything has been cleared up and settled?
Oh, they have their license.
Okay.
I sent out the renewals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we keep it moving?
Chief.
Yes, good evening. I have grave concerns about going to midnight. I'm not sure, I think this has changed hands, but when they came before the board, they knew the location. Chelsea's a walking city. The construction is impacting everybody, but I believe the main part of the construction is going to be done at the end of August. Then they're going to delay it for about a year. So the problem is, I think they sold my case. They seem to have some hiccups. The gentleman came over, we've had alarms going off, where we usually find businesses, and we didn't. We decided not to, because it's a new business. The idea that it's gonna make it safer is contrary to my 39 years in law enforcement, especially in that neighborhood. That is the busiest intersection in the city with, I think, one of the highest accident rates. We don't need people coming in. I'm gonna use an analogy of a bar in another city. Last call's at 1 a.m., Chelsea's at 12, everybody runs over there. We're gonna have an influx of people trying to buy their product. We have 5 total businesses, I believe, that to sell. You're gonna have to change them all till midnight. And I just don't think there's a need. I do understand the impact of construction. It's impacted everybody going to the chamber meetings. But it was put there as like Chelsea's a walking community. Everybody can walk. The MBTA bus, I think 3 bus lines go by it, or close enough. But the thought of having people loitering in an area that we spent years to clean up, We close bars down to 11 o'clock because that place is noted for people being robbed. It's easy prey sometimes. You walk down the street, and we've tried to clear that up, and I think we've done a good job. Officer McLaughlin's walked that beat. I haven't walked it since the 80s, but she's walked it more recent. And the other thought about marijuana, people can grow their own marijuana. I was in charge of detective for 14 years. Marijuana arrests are down to zilch. Our issues are heroin, fentanyl-laced pills, and cocaine. That's our issues. Marijuana, like I said, if they want to go get it, they can get it prior. I have no issue with them opening at 8. The early part, no issue. But midnight, liquor stores, as you said, are not open after midnight. There's a reason, you know, and you can all say that it's still a drug. It's still a drug that's not even like noticed by the United States government as being legal. I mean, it's a substance that we still have issues with. The police are way behind on this bill came out before. We have no officers trained. You have to be a drug detection officer to train to see if someone's under the influence of marijuana or drugs. We have nobody. There's probably 3 in the state. I just think you have to put a slow roll on this. They've had a hiccup opening that we have a police report. We had multiple alarms go off. It seems like let's slow this pace down, and we want them to survive. I do, but it's like everybody came during all these cannabis meetings knowing 9 to 9 was the hours. I know the establishment on Eastern Ave, that's like a state highway, plenty of parking. There is housing, but you have to go a block and a half up a side street. And we know during the cleanups, they have their issues. We find the product, Officer McLaughlin sees too, when we do the cleanups, the product is thrown out like up on Bellingham Street in the side streets. I just don't see a need for it. Like there's no study he's gonna tell me that intersection is gonna be cleaner or safer or better. It's gonna be more people, more traffic, and I'm not sure if anybody from the public lives above there or near there. It's just not anything that, as a police department, I could say for, at least right now. I have no problem, the 8 a.m., to me, the liquor store opens at 8 a.m., 100 feet down the street. But midnight, to me, is really a stretch, especially a business that's been only open a month, and they didn't even open properly. With the other 4 establishments, I haven't been here the whole time, but I believe they opened properly without issues. And we have had no issues with any place. I can say that. We don't have calls like we do at liquor stores or bars. All our places seem to run smoothly. But 12 o'clock is really like a stretch. 11 o'clock's a stretch for that neighborhood. At least let them build a good rapport and see how they do. We all want them to succeed, but this was sold, and I was coming to licensing, it was gonna be a walk-in business, because people can walk. It's so congested, Bellingham Square. Thousands of people live in a couple of block area. That's their base clientele. We don't need people from Revere, Everett, East Boston, driving over at 11:30, disrupting the neighborhoods. Everybody talks about pollution, idling their cars. To me, it's just, it makes it an enforcement dilemma for the police department.
You referenced a police report.
Yes.
Was that?
That's the one that you all have been speaking of, about, I think Naomi went with 2 officers to shut them down because of they
Okay,
weren't
I just wanted to make
compliance.
sure there
That
wasn't
is, yeah,
something
and the other
else.
ones are just, and he did speak that they have rectified their
accidentally,
alarms.
like, well,
Yeah, so you have spoken
Yep.
on the issue,
Just
which I'm
making
happy
sure it
with,
wasn't
that you
anything
guys
else.
cleared it up.
Perfect.
So could I add something that I
if-
forgot?
To the public.
I would like to have the people that are here from the public speak, if you
Could
don't
I
mind.
just do one addition and
Unless
public
And
speak?
you're-
you have a
unless-
chance
Hold on,
after-
Alex.
after all the comments.
Alex, I have it.
Yeah, it's just.
If you're just going to be repeating the same
No,
things
I'm
that
just
you've
gonna
already
say
been
one thing,
saying,
I'm gonna
I'd like
read
to keep the
something. Yeah.
meeting going.
No, that's it. Just very simple, very quick. From the last meeting, the transcript from the meeting with Harbor House extended hours to 11 o'clock, Chelsea Police Sergeant Star Chung said the department didn't have any concerns with the extended hours of operations. And I quote, "It would align with the liquor stores with 11 o'clock closings," Chung said.
Yes.
Just one thing I wanted to add.
And we've already referenced that, but the concern is the area, which is what our chief is referencing. If you could please step up and state your name. Thank you for coming.
My name's Julie DeMauro, and we're a property owner up and down Broadway. So I recognize this is kind of an issue because you have been affected by the construction all of Broadway has been, and I understand that. But what I think that, for me, that is a residential area. There's a lot of residents above those buildings, and that's how the city has been framed. However, these other 4 dispensaries that you mentioned that have the late hours, so it's Rise and Harbor, they're in industrial areas. So you're basically in an industrial area. There's very little, if any, residential. And I think that's what concerns me about staying out till midnight. I can understand dropping the hours to 8 a.m. in the morning if you're trying to capture that foot traffic, somebody's trying to get on the bus, they're going to work, whatever it may be. But I think the midnight is going to be a little too much for everybody to handle, even though you have so many safeguards in place. You just have to be mindful of the residents in the area, and these other places, there's no residency around there, and I think that should weigh into all of this. My only other concern is I know that Harbor's open till 11, and I think that 11 would be pushing it. I don't know how this board feels about precedence that's already been set, because you have one that's open at 11, and as the chief said, if you do it for one, you got to do it for everybody. Well, I'm not so sure on that part of it, but it is something that could be an issue later on down the line. So, you know, want you to succeed, want you to capture the revenue you can. 8 o'clock is fine, but I think the midnight is really pushing it. And once again, this is more about it being a residential area too. You're not lacking, you don't have that industrial control area around it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Ola?
So yeah, just to go back to what Captain said, and to you, what was your name? Sorry, what was your name?
He's chief, not captain.
All right, Chief. Sorry about that. Sorry.
No worries, thank you.
Sorry. I don't know like the rankings of the. Sorry. And you, what was your name? Julie. Nice to meet you, Julie. So I definitely understand that. You know, we're asking for a lot. You know, especially with some of the hiccups that we've had already. But my challenge to you guys is, again, we all have, or the people who really care about Chelsea, we all have this vision of what Broadway could be. Like, I've read it. I remember when Tom Ambrosino used to talk about it. We've brought these super expensive architects of cities and city planning to come and show us what Broadway could look like. We're 2.5 miles away from Haymarket. Why can't we be like Newberry Street? Why can't we be like that next attraction like these other places in other parts of Boston? And Chelsea has the potential to do that. And that's why we fought so hard for that location, because cannabis, it's unfortunate that it has to be cannabis. It couldn't be like this amazing restaurant, but cannabis, if it's run right and done right, it can be the epicenter to bring that sort of vibrancy to the community. And that's just the last thing that I want to say about that, because I get it, the safety and all that, we are making it safer with what we have, but just taking that risk on entrepreneurs like ourselves who have put a lot into it, just let us spice it up. Let us spice it up for y'all. Let's spice it up for y'all a little bit, you know?
I do just want to, did we have anybody else from the public that wanted? Okay, just checking.
And if I could just add one more thing.
Honestly, if you're saying the same thing, we don't have to keep repeating it.
No, I didn't, but this is, with respect to, because we have to kind of respond to what was said. So I think it's not so much a residential area, it's a downtown. There's a lot.
I'm sorry, I do have to stop you there. It is a residential area. It is the downtown of our city. There are residences above all of those buildings.
Above all of those businesses.
Yes, but that makes it residential. So come nighttime, you have people that live there and that is their homes. And just as we've done with many of our liquor licenses, when they've asked for certain extensions of late hours and entertainment in residential areas, we don't always allow it because we're worried about those noise factors.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'll just finish with one thing for you to, before you vote. That we have a laundromat that works right across from us until 11. 7-Eleven works 24 hours. I'm sure people loiter there as well. So, and liquor stores work at 11 until 11 p.m. So we would like you to consider all these things when you make your vote.
Thank you.
very much.
Appreciate that. Fellow commissioners, hearing all of that, I also agree, I don't really have an issue on the early side of things with people being able to purchase prior to heading into work. I do worry about the increase of added traffic to that area late at night and bringing in additional people from outside communities, as Chief stated, because there aren't other cannabis shops in our general area that are open until midnight. If I recall when we were going through that, correct?
Rice is until 10 and Harvard House until 11.
But I mean, even going out into surrounding communities, there's no one in our touching cities.
East Boston, I believe, is 9. I know you have to go like to downtown where it goes to 11 o'clock, like Boylston Street. I'm not sure near Boston Garden if that stays open late.
But there's nobody till midnight.
No, and Everett doesn't have it,
In-
and Revere doesn't have it, so we would be the focal point of thousands of people. Like, the closest spot would be this location.
Okay. So I can say that I wouldn't be comfortable with midnight for sure, being the latest place open that anybody could go in such a busy area of our city. So then it goes to, do we look at what we've done for some of the others? And I mean, if some are 10 and some are 11, I'm more inclined to grant the 10 for the time being, with it being residential.
What time are the liquor stores around there open until?
They're definitely open till 11.
Yeah, till 11.
Definitely. I do think it would be good for downtown. Another store open late night kind of, it does bring up vibrancy, if you can provide security. Does security ever come out of the building? Do security guards ever come?
Can you please step up to the microphone?
Security doesn't come out from the building, but we have close to 70 cameras that they constantly monitor. If you guys would like, we could have them patrol time to time, but they monitor it. We have the whole area surrounded.
There's no need.
My issue is not with their security, I'm sure it's fine, but he just said it's indoors. It's what happens a block away. What happens when they
I'm more concerned about what happens out front. If it's
Out
a
front,
safe
true,
area,
out front. They
safe
are
area.
responsible, as you know, for,
Yeah.
they're out front for loitering, and their security should say, like, move along. But again, what happens at the sale at 5 minutes of 12 and what happens beyond their property line is our responsibility. And I'm just all my experience, I'm just telling you, it's been an issue on that street forever. And we've done a
Well,
great job.
I think midnight's a non-starter. Like, I don't think we're talking about.
No, I even,
Yeah.
the 10 PM is not even, 10 wouldn't be so far-fetched. But 12 or 11 to me is,
And you
liquor
think
stores
11
stores have different mandates by state law. They have to open late, they can't open on holidays, so there's a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of differences.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no problem with the 8 AM, and I think the property, but like keeping it, I think they need to earn all of our trust that they can, the business can
The
run
only
for a
other
while.
thing that I would, no, we're having a
done.
conversation right now, please. So the other, the other thing that I want to keep in mind as we're having this debate about the hours, is I don't really care about an earlier time, but I believe it was brought up when some of the prior ones were looking for earlier times, and I don't know which commissioners it was, but I believe there was concern about, was it school? It was worried about.
That was at 7. I think they wanted 7 a.m.
Well, they're 500 feet away from the school. That's the law mandates it. They're not close to any school.
Everyone should be in school by 8. I'm not concerned about that.
Yeah, I think it was 7. I think they wanted earlier.
They wanted 7, and there was no way.
Okay.
And it was
Just-
in a
just
school.
making sure
There's,
that
and it was in a, I mean, this is near a school too, but that other one, that was Gladys's, and that was like right by the school.
Yeah.
So I think I don't care about the 8. I think the question is 10 or 11, and like, what's,
My only concern is that where the other establishments had some time before they came up to us to extend their hours,
Yeah.
I would like to see more history of how they managed their business before granting, later hours. But I can hear their passion and their vision, and I definitely want to support that. And I do have complete faith that you're going to have a secure location. I'm more worried about the traffic it's going to bring to the downtown area. We're managing it very well. Why even introduce something new? So I would agree for a 10 p.m. because of one of the comments that someone is coming in at 9:01 looking to purchase a product. Extending it to one more hour would definitely help. And then maybe with much history, we could review that in a year or 6 months, whatever the time period.
So your thought is that the other ones that we've granted those extensions had already been in operation for a year plus prior to us
It was just
granting.
Harbor, and they're in the middle.
I think Rise also had an extension on their hours.
But it's the longevity and also
They have parking.
the
Yeah.
area. So those are the two things that I'm considering with the other businesses versus with this business.
Understandable. Mike?
I agree, we work our way up to it, but a later hour, I don't think it's a retail business zone.
Rise is 9, it's not 10.
I thought it was 9.
It's 9.
On the weekends, I feel like Rise.
It's 10 p.m. Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, that's
Yeah.
it.
So they did get the later for Fridays and Saturdays.
So we're giving them at 10. Normal is, that's not what we give to everybody. In Harbor House is, I think that's a very different situation for 11.
But I think you do bring up a good point, Alex, that those other locations had also been in operation.
Yeah.
And shown that we didn't really have any issues for an extended period of time prior to granting the later hours. And we've been in operation for 6 weeks?
Yes, 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's,
Okay.
I'm sorry, is it 6 weeks with or without the license? Is it including the?
No, without the license, you came on the third day of us opening.
So it was 6
So we
weeks.
fixed that on the third day, and ever since then, it's been clean. So May 24th was when we opened.
Okay.
So yeah, roughly about 6-7 weeks.
Okay,
okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
So my suggestion would be 8 to 10.
Okay.
And that would be 7 days a week, so not any limit to a weekend.
Yeah.
Chief, thoughts on that?
My only concern, you said Rise is just weekends only, 8 to 10? or 9?
They close at 9, except for Friday and Saturdays. They
I
close at
wouldn't,
10.
again, Rise is on a road with not a house within a quarter of a mile. I don't mind if you decide giving them a weekends till 10, but I just don't know why, because again, like Rise, Harbor, total different places. You're gonna have Western Front come in next time, and they're, they have no issues there, but people do complain. I would just, if you're gonna do it, mirror what you did for Rise, weekends till 10, but Sunday through Thursday or whatever, it's 8 to 9. I wouldn't grant anything more from a business that hasn't proven themselves for a business that you did only give weekends till 10 that have been like event-free for over 2 years. That's just my, I don't have a voting right, and that's just my opinion, that's all.
Please make it quick, because
Very
this is
quick.
us
There's
trying
liquor-
to
very
have a
quick. There's liquor
conversation and
stores-
make a decision.
Yeah, very quick. There's liquor stores right next to us that are open until 11 o'clock.
understand that. We've
Right.
already-
And there's,
we've
you just
discussed
granted,
that.
you just granted a restaurant also that is new and hasn't proven itself a license to stay open until 1 o'clock. These are just some comment that I want.
You're not really ingratiating yourself to us tonight. You're not really ingratiating yourself, sir, tonight. Just want to say, some feedback.
I would take the recommendation of the police chief.
No, we're done.
On the weekends, just so that, again, with the history of the business. They took the time to come here to plead their cases. I agree to 8 a.m. I do appreciate the chief making that suggestion, and I would take that under advisement for this change of hours, of Friday, Saturday to 10 p.m., and then the rest to 9 p.m.
And then you're thinking 8 a.m. every day.
8 a.m. every day.
So
It will give them a chance.
So if I have this correct, what you're proposing would be 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday.
Sunday.
I'm sorry, Sunday through Thursday, and then Fridays and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Correct. That would be my proposal.
I don't have an issue with 10 PM every day, but
Just to point out that the liquor stores don't open until 10 a.m. on Sundays,
Okay, thanks.
all right?
I don't have an issue with 10 PM every day either.
yeah.
It's a downtown area. Everything should be open at that hour.
Do we remember if when Rise came before us, they were only asking for the
I think
extension
they
on
only asked.
Fridays
They only
and
asked for
Saturdays?
that.
They didn't ask for
yeah.
any more.
But I think if I recall, I think they asked for 8 o'clock, not 7. That was Vida Verde, which is Gladys. When they came before us, they wanted 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, they wanted
And
8.
somebody, I don't know which commissioner said,
Wasn't me.
school kids.
Vida Verde, but that's in Prattville, there's nothing out there. Vida Verde, that's the Prattville one, it never even opened.
Yeah.
It never opened.
They did come to us, but they didn't
Right, but
even
it wasn't
open.
Vida Verde, it was Harbor House. They wanted 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you're saying it wasn't Vida Verde?
Right,
You're saying it was
Harbor House.
Oh, gotcha.
I thought you were saying it was.
They were given 9 o'clock. They stayed at 9 instead of 8 because of the school kids.
No,
No, not for the Harbor
not for
House.
Harbor House. It was the one that was near the
I
school.
remember talking with
Yes.
Enyo, and Enyo agreed
Yeah.
to 8 a.m., but he
It
was
was-
not a big fan about the nighttime one.
But it was because it was wherever we were talking about was near the school. Harbor House is not near anything. That wouldn't have been an issue with the school kids, unless the school bus decided to stop there.
Yeah.
I'll go back on the minutes. and
I
check.
promise,
Yeah,
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So are we looking to do 10 PM every night or just 10 PM on Fridays and Saturdays?
I am worried about the longevity of the business, so I would still suggest the weekend. If they had a longer history and, you know, a sense of the business after 6 months, I would feel more convincing, but at this point, no.
To give them,
10 p.m. every night.
so right now, you're not convinced to give 10 PM every night?
She says Friday,
Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pitch. And Mike and we don't have issue
I don't have an issue with that.
every night at 10. I mean, midnight definitely not, 11 definitely not, but I don't think an hour difference matters.
So who wants to make a motion?
You're the tiebreaker.
I question if, I look at it this way, if Rise was only given the Fridays and Saturdays, it may not be a bad place to start. This would be the first one, if we grant them an 8 AM, it would be the first one that we've granted an 8 AM open. So with that and it being a fairly new business, I might be inclined to kind of align with what Alex is saying, and for the time being, look at it being an 8 AM start, and then 10 PM only on Fridays and Saturdays, and then they can revisit it in 6 months. If things are going well, come back before us and ask for an extension on the rest of the days.
And Harbor House is, by the way, 9 PM, Sunday through Wednesday. It's only 11 PM, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just FYI. Yeah.
So it seems consistent with the other dispensaries that on the weekends, they're
Yeah.
making it longer.
So we could do Thursday,
But
Friday.
that's what they're asking for, not what we grant, we granted it because they asked for it. They didn't ask for it every day.
Yeah, but I think in consistency with all the other,
And so even if we wanted to say Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 10 PM, and stayed 9 PM on the other days, I think that
I would agree to that. Or we could do, if you wanted to extend it Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I also liked your idea that in 6 months' time, if they wanted to come back again, because then we will have
and then
more.
we can look at how business has been going and look at, do we go with additional hours based upon how things have been going? But let's give it a chance to see how things are going, particularly with the concerns from the police department. I'd like to ensure that we're not adding to an already existing issue that the
Absolutely.
police department has brought to our attention. So I think kind of a slow increase in this sort of a scenario when we know that our police department is concerned about the traffic and everything in that area. I would be inclined to be a bit more cautious, given the feedback from the police.
I would agree to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but still limited to 10 p.m. and then 8 to 9 Sunday to Wednesday.
Mike?
Okay. I'm in agreement.
Okay, so based upon that, does someone want to make a motion to approve a change in hours for the cannabis license for House of Ermias LLC DBA Chelsea Bud at 267 Broadway to Sunday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.?
I will make the motion for those hours.
Does somebody want to second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. And as we stated, we want the business to be successful. So let's see how those adjusted hours go for the next 6 months. And then if in 6 months things are going well and you want to come back before us and ask for another revision to those hours, you're certainly welcome to do so. And hopefully things have gone great and everybody from your neighbors to our police department, any of their concerns are kind of negated. But we want to make sure that you're successful and that it doesn't become an issue. So I think we're going to have to kind of baby step our way to getting anything too extensive, rather than have you hit the ground way too fast and have it flop, because we really just don't want that to happen for you guys. We want you to be successful.
We appreciate you hearing us today. We appreciate all your comments, and we want to say that we want to be and we will be a responsible member of this fine community, and we will do whatever it takes to make you all proud and stay compliant. We appreciate it very much. Thanks a lot.
Good luck,
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks. Have a good night. Thanks.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Other business. Ms. Naomi, first, let me just tell you that I told you you jinxed it. Other business. There is a mandatory meeting, Chief. If you want to talk about that meeting that has been scheduled.
Yes, we've done this in the past with all I'm not sure, Naomi, is this off-premise and on-premise, all of them, or is it both to have to come to this mandatory? Both? All, okay, perfect. Yeah, that we do with the ABCC, and it sets the tone. We did it a couple of years ago, Officer McLaughlin was there, when Tom Ambrosino was the city manager. We just think it's time again. We've had a lot of management change. We're gonna have it at a hotel. The ABCC will be pretty much the main act. We will do a small presentation if you're available. One of the commissioners would be great for you to be there to go over our local licensing rules. But it's mostly a pep talk by the ABCC to tell them. We all sat at their meeting and we have the schedule. The ABCC's on board. I think it's good for all the businesses.
Perfect, thank you. I do have that in my calendar, so I do plan on being there. I did skip over, and I needed to reference it. The fourth item on our agenda this evening was a disciplinary public hearing for revoking, suspending, or modifying the all-alcohol beverage on-premise license and the amusement and entertainment license as to the noncompliance of the rules and regulations for Taqueria Eucalypto Corporation, DBA Las Vegas Restaurant at 388 Broadway, Chelsea, Mass. Their lawyer did request a continuance, which we granted, so they will be coming before us at our next meeting. The other item that we were going to discuss tonight, but it will get pushed to next month's meeting given the length of time tonight's meeting has taken, is at our special meeting on June 23rd, we started the process of building a progressive disciplinary plan that will pertain to all of the licensees. We have our first drafts that we are working on for that, and given how late today's meeting has gone, we won't get into that this evening. But if I can ask all of my fellow commissioners to make sure that at our next meeting, you have all of your notes as to what we want to do, so we can try to have hopefully some sort of a final draft by the end of that meeting. I think that would be helpful, not only for us as a commission, but also for all of the licensees. Is there any other business before I close the meeting?
No, that's it.
Lovely. Our next meeting is, nope, I already did that. You weren't here. Our next meeting is scheduled for August 14th, 2025. Meeting adjourned.